So I'll just have a quick fly through here. It's probably the most interesting stuff up here.
There's a sensuous and flirtatious aspect to biographical research, breaking seals and confidences, untying ribbons from bundles of documents, raising the dust of strangers' lives, dealing and unpacking other people's intimacies and deciphering their photos. All these were games I played while researching the secret history of Kate Bush, an absurdist experiment to see how far the rock bio could be stretched without snapping. I adopted the persona of a mad professor so obsessed that he traces Kate Bush's genealogy back to the Vikings. Oddly, or perhaps not, the book became the best-selling biography of that singer. And here is how I started to trace the family history. That's her birth certificate, for example. And what you do then is you go from the parents, you get details of the parents, and you work backwards, and then you get their parents, and then their parents, and so on. And you can go all the way back to the 19th century, and sometimes before then. We are now in Pedmarsh, the village where generations and generations of Bushes lived and are buried in this very graveyard here, most of them in unmarked graves because they were paupers or poor old labourers and they couldn't afford headstones in those days. Nevertheless, we're standing here on their bones, all the Bush bones. And this is something I stumbled on by accident, just as I thought, I was looking into her family history and it didn't seem there were many events and it was getting a bit boring. And I was wondering how I was going to sort of spice this up as a story. And then all of a sudden I came across this. This is the death certificate for her great-great-grandfather Henry Bush. And when I got this from the records office, in fact, the girl who gave it to me started laughing, and I thought, that's odd. And then when I read the cause of death, I realised why she was laughing. This is the area in Essex near Pedmarsh village that Kate Bush's family lived for centuries, in fact, and most of them were fairly inconspicuous farm labourers, so not much is known about them. However, one of them, her great-great-grandfather, Henry Bush, became notorious. He was notorious in the whole vicinity for being a drunkard, for being a fighter, for being a braggart, and all kinds of things. And one night, he had gone, as usual, drinking. His wife had sent him out looking for work, and he said he was going to look for work, but he didn't. He went to the pub, had his breakfast in the pub, and then he went on a pub crawl in the area. And he ended up coming home along this street, along here, which was then a mud track. This is December the 2nd, 1872. Very dark night, very cold. He's walking along here, he keeps on walking, perhaps he's thinking of his warm bed. He suddenly trips, he falls into that ditch, there's water in the ditch, and he drowns. And I think what I'll do in the interests of science and truth is try and reenact the moment that he died. So I walk here and I go into the ditch. Found dead in a ditch from suffocation, into which he is believed to have accidentally fallen from intoxication.